You're listening to The Social Workers on WCDB Albany.
Welcome to the Social Workers Radio Talk Show. I'm your co-host, Alyssa Lotmore, and today we have with us one of our alums, Natalie Turner. Natalie is a case manager at the Alzheimer Center at Albany Medical Center. She received her BSW from UAlbany in 2017 and continued on to get her MSW from the University of Albany's Internships in Aging project. She has experience working with individuals and families affected by Alzheimer's disease and other dementias, facilitating support groups for people with the disease and caregivers, and delivering educational programs on Alzheimer's disease and other dementias. Natalie is committed to helping people affected by dementia and their families. Welcome, Natalie.
Hi, thank you so much for having me. I'm very excited.
Now, I knew you when you were a student, and you had a stellar experience here at UAlbany, involved in so many different things. So I want to back up and start from that time when you were an undergrad. And as your bio said, you're a BSW and MSW alum. You had numerous accomplishments during your time at the School of Social Welfare. So tell me a little bit about your experiences and the opportunities you had as a BSW student.
Yeah, absolutely. And I honestly cannot say enough good things about my BSW experience. I could not have asked for a better experience or introduction to social work with my BSW program. And I am very proud of what I was able to accomplish. I feel like there was a lot, and I would not have been able to do it without all of the UAlbany School of Social Work faculty and staff that showed me every opportunity there was, and then helped me to really take advantage of them. And there's just so much going on at the school. There's so much out there, and I think it's really important for students to know it's not put limits on what they think they can accomplish. So it's been really great. I just feel like in my BSW, I said yes to a lot of things, and that really helped me. So when I was thinking about it, I was like, let me go back to the beginning. Like, what was one of the first opportunities that I got? And I remembered it was Sam Fletcher, who did her PhD at UAlbany when I was getting my BSW and my master's. And now she's the director of NISW New York State. Her and Dawn Knight Thomas from the school came to one of my first social work classes, I think even before I got into the BSW program officially. And they came to discuss their program, The Gathering, which is just another great thing that the school offers. And they were looking for volunteers to conduct interviews, to interview participants or people who had participated in the gathering to look at the impact that program had. And I just raised my hand. I was like, sure, I'll do it. Like, if you'll take me. And it was really great because then Sam really taught me how to conduct an interview. I was trained in qualitative interviewing skills. And then after that, she started taking time out of her schedule to teach me how to analyze that qualitative data, which was really cool. And again, I'm really grateful for, because at the same time, she connected me with Eric Hardman and the Dwyer program. Mm-hmm. I actually still work for them. So Sam, forever grateful for her. She brought me onto that project, and I started just with inputting data from monthly reports. And now I'll talk a little bit about it later. I'm at the point where I'm working on an article for them using this data. So that was one of the first things right off the bat that I had started with the BSW program that, again, forever grateful for.
And just so our listeners know, The Gathering, which still continues today, is a group that helps to, bring a deeper understanding to social justice and issues in an effort to gain a better awareness of ourselves and the knowledge about the clients that we work with through open discussion in a safe forum. So it really, I think it was started after one of the police shootings of a Black man, and it has continued throughout this time. And that was years ago, and it's still relevant today, as we know. But that was something that we have at the School of Social Welfare. Am I correct in that description, Natalie?
Yes. Yeah. Yes. And it's just, they did such a phenomenal job running it. So I was really grateful to be part of that whole experience and hearing directly from participants on how that program impacted them. It was great.
So, the volunteer opportunities is something that I think sometimes students don't always see of like, oh, what is available to me? And sometimes it's volunteering, putting sort of, yourself out there and saying, I want to learn something. I might not know a lot about this right now, like conducting interviews, but let me try, and somebody can teach me, and this will be a valuable experience. So what else were you connected with? Because I know you did a few other sort of major things, including traveling to Washington, D.C. for a little bit. Tell us a little bit about your time with NIH.
Yes. Oh, that was something else that I'm, forever proud of and really grateful for. So I had known in my junior year, at that point I was in the BSW program. I had started working with Dr. Julia Hastings, so I can talk about that after. But just an email went out, I think, to the School of Social Work students, and just said that there are internship opportunities at the NIH. This one at the NIH focuses on health disparities. And if you're interested, please talk to one of these professors, including Dr. Hastings. And I was like, sure, that sounds right up my alley. And as I was reflecting on the program afterwards, I was thinking like, wow, I didn't really appreciate any kind of, or even realize about any challenges or roadblocks that would come my way. I just thought, this is what I'm interested in. This is something I'd like to do, and I'm just going to apply for it. And it was afterwards I found out that this was a program that took 19 people in the entire country. And I was, lucky enough to be one of them. And I believe I'm the first social worker they've had. And I don't know if they've taken any more since, but not in a bad way. I just don't know if other social workers have applied. But it wasn't until I got there and I realized I was surrounded by all these, pre-med bio students. And I was like, wow.
From all universities, Harvard. Yeah, it's a pretty competitive program, and you were able to be accepted into it. And not only were you accepted, you did some phenomenal things while there. I believe there was a publication that came out of this as well. Am I correct?
Yes. Yep. So my first publication, which was very, very exciting, I was assigned to work with a mentor at the biostatistics branch of the National Cancer Institute of the NIH. So we were looking at incidence of non-cardia gastric cancer. This is a type of stomach cancer among various racial ethnic groups. And of course, as a social worker who hadn't seen, an official math class since high school, when I got there, I was very nervous, but I just had such a wonderful experience. I mean, the mentors there, they were there to teach. They loved to teach. I really learned a lot about statistics, data analysis, poster presentations, got the opportunity to attend lectures and just learn so much. And then from that project in 2018, we got a publication out of it. And I was lucky enough because I had done a lot of the work on the data. My name is on that. I'm one of the authors. That was just phenomenal.
That's really, really exciting. So is there anything else from the BSW before we transition to your MSW career?
Yes, if that's all right with you. One other thing that I feel really grateful for that I got to participate in is throughout my undergrad experience, I was part of the UAlbany Honors College. And as a part of that, we were all assigned to write an honors thesis. And just based on my interest with health disparities, I was linked up with Dr. Julia Hastings from the School of Social Work. And I'll never forget the conversation we had. It was something like, when we were talking about what I wanted to do, he was like, well, what do you want to do? And I kind of said, well, what can I do? He goes, that depends on how far you want to go. And I said, how far can I go? He goes, well, you can do, an extensive lit review, or we can try all the way to submit to a journal for publication. And again, thought nothing of challenges, limitations, any of the struggles with that. I said, sure, let's do it. And that was kind of another journey that I started in my BSW and ended in my MSW, where we were using data from the National Survey of American Life, which looks at mental health disorders among African Americans, Caribbean Blacks, and non-Hispanic whites. And we looked at the relationship between religiosity, spirituality, and mental health service use. And again, wrote the thesis for the program, but decided to keep on working on that paper. And that too was submitted in my master's degree for publication. That was a very exciting opportunity as well. So again, it's just a lot of me saying yes with the limitations I put on myself.
So you could have really gone to any graduate program in the country after undergrad experience like that. I mean, interning at the National Institutes of Health, having a journal publication, working on another journal publication, being able to interview individuals. I mean, and your grade point average, I'm sure, is, was up there as well. So you chose to stay at UAlbany, and I remember, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I remember one of the things that you told me when, you were looking at, graduate programs, that one of the things that attracted you to UAlbany was the Internships and Aging Project. And that was sort of one of the reasons that UAlbany stood out to you as a place that you want it to be. So can you talk a little bit about your experience with the IAP program and, how that program caused you to, not only want to be here, but I know you're still involved with it. So it definitely had an impact on you. So talk a little bit about that.
Yes, absolutely. And the IAP program was a huge draw for me. I knew from my bachelor's program and the field placement I had with the American Cancer Society Hope Club that I wanted to work in the health arena and more specifically with older adults. So I knew that was the population I was looking for. But the IAP program here is, not only do you get that experience with older adults and the aging population, but just the types of internships they provide, the IAP community, the fact that, when you're in the IAP program, you're with other students that are also in the program, you attend a seminar. So I knew I would get a community, the aging professional community, social workers, and other disciplines that work in the aging field. I mean, it's a really great network that we have here in the Capital Region and a little bit beyond. So I knew I wanted to be a part of that. And then additionally, it's with the IAP program, you're in field 3 days a week instead of 2. And that was a huge draw for me because I knew I wanted to go out and practice social work after completing my master's, and the idea that I could get more practice experience in field was really important to me. So just having that opportunity, and that's really what drew me here. And again, the type of internship I was looking for, which I knew the school could provide, was something that had, that clinical micro social work experience, but also a macro component as well. So the fact that I could do that with IAP was a huge draw. So that's really what brought me here. And then I stayed. So kind of funny, the field placement that I had for IAP was with the Alzheimer's Association and the Alzheimer's Center at Albany Med. So another great thing about IAP is you have your field placement, but each field placement comes with a rotation, and that rotation looks a little bit different depending on where you are. The way I look at it is I almost got 2 field placements at the same time because I kind of split my time 50-50. It was a perfect fit. I had phenomenal mentors, Shannon Lawler from the Alzheimer's Association, everyone over there, and Carly Wilkes from here. I was able to do community education, support groups, raising, community awareness event, looking at the clinical experience with an interdisciplinary team here at Albany Med. And then afterwards, I actually took a job here at the Alzheimer's Center at Albany Med. So, I must have loved it if I just decided I couldn't say goodbye.
Yes.
So it was great.
So talk a little bit about your job now, because you're still there. You're still where you interned. And tell us how the transition was to that position, and sort of what is some of the work that you're doing now that might be different than from when you were an intern?
Yes. So my job now as one of the social workers here at the Alzheimer's Center at Albany Med looks a little different since COVID, but typically I was kind of splitting my time, and part of it was working one-on-one with families. So I'm part of the diagnostic process. We try to make sure new patients are seen by both a nurse and a social worker. So I would take histories of new patients coming in. I would do cognitive testing. I was directly involved with the doctors and the nurses as part of the care team, and then following up with families on disease education, providing emotional support, linkages with community resources. And then the other part of my job was outreach, training, and education. Like I said, it looked a little different before COVID, but I used to be on the road quite a bit, talking with primary care providers, different health systems, like Saratoga Hospital, Columbia Memorial, all those health systems around the Capital Region, colleges and universities. Like I've spoken at classes at the University at Albany School of Social Work. We've been to Rose, Maria College, all of these places, training professionals on Alzheimer's disease and dementia, just raising awareness and things like that. So that's what I get to do here now.
It's an important topic that you've seemed to enjoyed this population for a long time. So it's good to have someone in the field who really has a passion for what they're doing and the population that they're working with.
Yeah, and I didn't honestly before my internships. I wasn't as familiar with Alzheimer's disease and other dementias, but just from the experience of being a social work intern with the Alzheimer's Association and the Alzheimer's Center at Albany Med, I really fell in love with the population, people with the disease, caregivers. Even now I run support groups for both the caregivers, but also a younger onset group for people with the disease, and I spend time talking with those who have a diagnosis of dementia. So I really did, after the experience, fall in love with the population.
And it was you were connected through IAP, and this is the Internships and Aging Project's 20th anniversary this year. And what would you like others to know about the IAP program and why social workers are needed in the aging field?
Yes, I mean, there are not nearly enough social workers in the aging field. Every time I meet another social worker who's a gerontology social worker or works with older adults, it's always there needs to be more of us. It's such a small community. And it's true, it's very small, but the aging community here in the capital region is phenomenal. But there definitely needs to be more of us. Just as the population continues to age, we're going to need more people who know about working with older adults, who really get that population. And then even if, I work in the healthcare field, so of course we're seeing more people come through, hospitals, clinics. I think that's to be expected. But even people working with families, substance use, mental health, older adults face all of these issues, and we're going to need people that are really experts in the field. And I really felt truly prepared me for that. The seminars that I attended, they brought in different professionals that worked in the aging field. We got to see different organizations and visit them, and see where do people work. And what does, work in a macro setting like the Office for the Aging look like versus a clinic like mine versus a community non-for-profit like the Alzheimer's Association. We got to see all of that and to see all the opportunities to work in the aging field. So yeah, it's really critically important to have more social workers involved. For some reason, I think aging gets forgotten, but more people should really take a look at it because it's going to become more and more relevant as time goes on.
Mm-hmm. So what next for you? I mean, I would love to know a PhD, more research and journal publications. You have you're such a talent in terms of all the things that you have experience in, your strengths. Where do you see yourself?
That's $1 million question. I definitely do want to get my PhD. My BSW and my MSW were full of research, so that's really important to me. I love doing research. Right now, I'm still connected. Like I said, I still work with Eric Hardiman for the Dwyer program, which is a veterans peer-to-peer support program that's run throughout New York State. So I'm part of a great team, and we submit now their biannual reports on how the program is functioning. Submit poster presentations for that, and different presentations on the program. And right now, I'm working on an article to submit for publication. And it looks at veterans' perspectives on their pathways to service use. So how do you get someone through the door, and how do you get them to stay connected with a program? So I'm working on that now, and hopefully that will be submitted soon to a journal. Still definitely interested in research and getting my PhD. And then I also just became the division director of the Northeast Division of the National Association of Social Workers New York State chapter. So hopefully people will be seeing more of me around.
Congratulations.
I'm very excited for that as well, and to get to know our social workers in the area.
Yeah, you are definitely involved in a lot, but I think you have a good balance of, being involved, learning, maintaining connections, and that network that's so important in the social work field of how can we all, because it's all connected in some way, shape, or form. So you're doing an awesome job, and we're so lucky to have you in these important positions because, like we said, social workers are all connected. So I'm really glad. I'm sure I'll interact with you in many different ways throughout your career.
Yes, absolutely. Like I said, I wouldn't have been able to do any of these opportunities without the faculty support, people in the community that believed in me or showed me what opportunities were out there, because there's just so much. Sometimes it's just how do you find them, how do you navigate all of that. So I'm forever grateful for all the social workers and support staff in the capital region that kind of led me to all of this.
Well, I want to thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedule for coming on today and talking about your experience here at UAlbany as a BSW social work major as an MSW in the IAP program, and now through your experience and still the way you're connected to the School of Social Welfare, you're connected to the social work community. And I want to thank you for being on today.
Yes, thank you so much for having me. It's been so much fun.
Again, we are with Natalie Turner, who is the case manager at the Alzheimer Center at Albany Medical Center. She's one of our fantastic alums of the University of Albany School of Social Welfare. And I'm sure we'll have you back on, Natalie, to talk about the many other things that you're involved in. Thank you so much.
Anytime. Thank you so much.
You're listening to The Social Workers on WCDB Albany.